It's time to be the hero.
Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for joining in this evening. I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting. It's an exciting meeting in that we have district's premier PR and marketing specialist, Dan Cortese, with us. I call him my personal genius.
Marilyn froze.
Me or did she freeze?
No, Marilyn froze.
Yeah, she's been having problems.
5:30. It's in the brown book.
Needs to, and I was
Oh,
Dan,
was that hit it?
wait,
All right. Well,
go
thank you.
ahead.
There. Thanks, Marilyn, for that introduction. I guess most of you guys know me by Dan Cortese. I'm the district's public image chair. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. I know we were just talking earlier about how busy this time of year is, so I do appreciate you guys taking the time to check out this training tonight. Let me start my screen here real quick. All right, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so like I said, I'm in charge of the district's public image. That includes PR, branding, marketing, which includes graphic design. So that's kind of what I do mostly for the district. Let's see here. Oh, I can't get my screen. Oh, there it goes. I know they're not here tonight, but I wanted to introduce to you some of the other key players on the public image team. We got past district governor Dan Goodrich. He does a lot of the website development, DACDB stuff. So he's like the guru for that kind of stuff. So if you ever need help in those areas, he's your guy for that. Kevin Taylor has been a part of this group for a while now. He's mostly in charge of the podcast now. So if we'll talk about that a little bit later, but if you want to coordinate with him to be involved in our podcast, he's your guy. And then Jennifer Loretta, she's been doing marketing for a long time for the district. She's kind of doing the behind the scenes role, involved in programs, helping with the website development, all that kind of stuff. So if you ever have any questions, that's the group that you can reach out to as it relates to public image. So public image and Rotary is what people outside of Rotary think of when they hear our name, right? This pin means a lot in Rotary. Just by seeing the pin, people can automatically tell, which organization we come from. So it's so important to even display this pin in public. But our image is basically shaped mostly by the actions, obviously, of what our members are doing, the activities we engage in, and what impact we have. Obviously, Rotary does a lot. Public image is just a gateway to showing people what we're doing in our communities, locally, globally, all that stuff. So why should your club care about Rotary's public image? A stronger public image of Rotary can benefit your club in many ways. It helps attract new members, boasts pride among current members, encourages community support through time and donations, and makes your club stand out from other volunteer opportunities. I know we probably all have stories to tell, but I know one thing that I tried to do when I became president was, and I was president during COVID, is I needed to get our image out to the public during a time when it was hard to do that, right? So I kind of latched on to social media and the website and doing videos and all that kind of stuff. And that actually attracted a ton of new members during COVID. But it was all about advertising what our community events were at that time. So we were doing a lot of projects, and the only way to get that information out was through social media. So I just hit social media hard, and it actually made a difference. It made us pretty visible during a time when most people weren't. So what can I do to promote my club's public image? So as a Rotary or a Rotaract member, you're a representative of our brand and can showcase how your club's projects help the community. Like I was just saying, the Brand Center has resources to help promote your club's work, get positive media attention, and highlight your members as people of action. And we'll talk a lot about Rotary's Brand Center because that is a key tool that we all have. It's all accessible to all of us, but not everybody uses it. And when you get in there, there's a lot of information to use. So one thing, and I put all of this information in the chat, it'll, if you want to click on the links or whatever, or save them for later. This is obviously how you get to the Rotary Brand Center. Our Rotary Brand Center is a resource for promoting Rotary in your community. It provides tools, templates, and other materials to help you. Some examples are creating our own logos. I get asked this a lot as the public image chair. People email me pretty regularly to help them create their logos. But it's actually a pretty simple process. It's all built into the Rotary Brand Center. There's an area that has templates for logos. And all you do is you just type in your club's name and it automatically creates this logo. Of course, you can pull off other logos like the Rotary Master Brand logo. You've got Interact, you've got Rotaract. All of that's available within this section of the website. The best part is that you can also do lockup logos. So what that really entails is just adding your club logo and attaching it to maybe your whoever you might be collaborating with. So if you've got maybe a Salvation Army project or something, you can put those logos together in the Rotary logo templates. If you create a logo for your own event, you can also do that. But that's like the proper way of combining our logos and utilizing our logos on printed materials and stuff like that. The Brand Center also has a lot of marketing materials. So if you're not maybe so savvy in creating things from scratch, or if you don't like a lot of like the Photoshop or Canva type programs, Rotary's already done all the work for you. All you have to do is go into their marketing materials and you can pull up flyers like this. You can pull up banners, posters, all kinds of things that'll help with your guys' communications for your event. So Rotary has made it very simple to create these types of materials. Another useful tool, and I know that they've recently expanded, which has been kind of a need we've had for a while, is they've put in basically like stock images and videos of people in action. And depending on maybe what effort you're trying to make, if you are doing something in the community, you can pull community related photos out, or if it's an environmental project, there's environmental photos and graphics you can use. All of that's in Rotary. So if you don't have it yourself, you could still create it using basically Rotary branded, approved materials. They even have audio recordings. So if you do, if you want to do like a voiceover type thing on a video, that's available. You can run these locally on the radio if you have access to that kind of thing. So it's super simple. All you have to do is download it. Obviously, the Rotary Brand Center also helps us promote our own members. So they give us some creative tools, just basically more design stuff, utilizing a lot of the the Rotary branded sayings, mottos, stuff like that. So that's all available in there. You can just literally, like in this Together We Connect photo, you can just drop an image behind it that, you know, involves the, you know, your event or your club, whatever, you know, you have available. So it's super simple to create professional looking materials. You can also, well, like I was just explaining, Rotary has their own brand compliant images, professional videos and photographs. So yeah, that's just, there's just a ton of it available. The search is very easy. You can, you know, dial it down to just images, videos, and of course the types of images and stuff that you want. This is a very useful tool. I probably experience more of this than anybody else, but if you do have any questions about branding, they've written it all out for you. They've given you, there's guides, branding guideline books that you can easily download, get an idea of how to create just different branded materials. Super simple, easy to access information, but it gives you a ton of information. So we all know that we have a huge impact, right? There's so many things that we're involved with, whether it's local initiatives or global initiatives. All of this stuff is super important to our communities in the world. It's up to us to convey that message, right? We're the voice of Rotary. We have to get it out somehow. And that's what public image is all about, is conveying these messages, you know, and professionally, you know, and you know, so that's just kind of the goal here, is to produce a good image for Rotary by using all of these materials. And since we have all of these initiatives to work off of, you know, that's kind of what the concept is behind developing all these materials, is this is our way to get this information out. So club events and raising awareness. So one of the key ways we make an impact is through the promotion and marketing of our club events. These events allow us to raise funds, increase awareness, and strengthen community connections. So there's a lot of opportunity to do this. Obviously, in today's age, social media is huge. And just like I did for this this event tonight, or this training tonight, is I create a lot of event pages. And event pages, they serve a lot of purposes. Not only you giving out this information, you're targeting audiences. You can also track people, the interest from people, right? You can RSVP to these events. So those are super helpful. Hashtags are pretty cool too. I know the algorithm of social media is what we, as social media people, try to strive to create the best algorithms, you know, that help us promote our events. Hashtags help with that. They target audiences. You know, and they're creating information and deciding who's going to see this information based off of some of the hashtags you guys use. Targeted ads, that's a great opportunity. You can obviously invest in some of this marketing. It's pretty low cost, depending on the size of area you want to reach, but that's a huge opportunity to use for some of your bigger events. Event reminders, obviously that keeps your event, you know, on the forefront of people's minds. So you definitely want to utilize these tools, and most of it's free to use. So these are some of the social media platforms we use. We use Facebook, we use Instagram, LinkedIn. So all of our district information is being pushed to these. And our hope is that you guys can take this information from there and share it out to your you know, clubs or your you know, whoever your audience is. But these are at least the three that I would stick with, you know. Everybody has a preference though. Okay, event marketing strategies. So collaborating with local media is obviously huge. If you have the ability to send out press releases, that's great. Some newspapers are still out there. One thing we do in our area a lot is get a hold of the large social media groups, the groups that are on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is now, X. If we can get a hold of those groups and those groups are willing to share our events, that's where we can spread the message very quickly and effectively. I know some of our groups have 70, 80,000 people in it. So whether they're all here locally or not, that message is getting out. So we try to utilize that as often as possible. I know some like the desert groups, the desert clubs have access to a lot of local media, which is great for Rotary. I mean, they're always getting these little interviews and spotlights on local news stations. So if you have access to that, totally utilize that. All right, so one of the things that I enjoy doing is the creation of flyers and posters and signage. I try to create as many flyers for every event possible. So, and I try to put that information out there digitally. We try to print these things out. We use local community boards that we can put our information on. Just stuff like that. It's so easy to do, but you just got to do it. Digital signage is becoming pretty cost effective nowadays, depending on what kind of investment you want to make. But we're using that in the district now, which has been great for a lot of clubs, and I'll get into that more a little bit later. One of the programs I always promote in every PR workshop I ever did is Canva. I used to promote like Photoshop, stuff like that. I think Canva is user friendly to absolutely everyone. I think we have a great benefit by being a nonprofit. If you submit your nonprofit information to Canva, you get the Pro Edition for free. So almost everything that I create for the district now is through Canva. And it's super beneficial to have that Pro Edition because obviously if you don't, they're going to limit you on like the elements, the resources, and the graphics that you can use while creating those, posters, videos. This whole presentation right here was created on Canva, but definitely, I also put this in the chat. You can check this out. It's easy to apply for, and it's totally for free. So here's just a few examples of stuff I've done recently, but I've got probably thousands of whether they're flyers, social media posts. I can do billboards, all on Canva. So I think Canva is a super useful tool, and I hope that everybody gets in or downloads it. One of the things about Canva, just like any other program, the more you use it, the better you get at it. Mess around with it, play around with it, you'll get used to it in no time. So here are some marketing tools that the district actually provides for everybody. We've got an event in the box, we've got digital billboards, and we have a District 5330 podcast. Our event in the box is managed by Al Rubio, who's our membership chair. And he literally has the easy up tablecloth. You can get brochures. Of course, brochures are easy to make and customize on the brand center. But all of this is available to you. So if your club doesn't have something like that, all you have to do is reach out to Al and he can arrange for you to get that. So it looks very professional at every event. Obviously, it's very visible. It's got Rotary's branding all over it. It's definitely good to use at an event if you guys don't have one. So if you would like to get a hold of these materials, there's Al's information. I also put that in the chat as well. So billboards have been super exciting for me this year. I've always wanted to create a billboard. I don't know why. I think it's cool to drive by and see something that you've created on a freeway, but we've got these locations right now throughout Riverside and San Bernardino County. We have 5 separate locations, but we have 7 slots. So I don't know if you've seen a lot of these digital boards. I know they're pretty common now. They only run for about 5 seconds or so, but they're in a constant rotation, right? So here's a billboard that I created for our Tinsel Triathlon in Hemet. But I've also, I know Judy, our district governor, has gone around and promoted the billboards. And the benefit to this is that we, if you are interested in it, you contact me, I give you all the specs. You can have somebody create the design for you. There's 2 different sizes, so you just have try to create the same design in 2 different sizes, or I can help you with it. But these are instant. Like the moment that you give me your design and we approve it, I email it to Lamar, and within minutes, it's usually up on a billboard somewhere. So that's how cool this program is. That's how effective it is. And I've been lucky to see 2 so far. I know it's kind of random, you know, when you're driving, but I have seen them and they do look great. So some of the requirements for our billboard program, number 1, it's just keep it simple, 7 words or less, pretty typical. You put 1 call to action, only use readable and large fonts. You got to remember that people only have 5 seconds or so to look at this. So you want to make it as simple as possible. Bright, highly contrasting colors, fonts and backgrounds. We don't really do phone numbers anymore. We do websites, or you can do a tag to a social media platform. You only try to use 1 image. One of the main requirements here is to use Rotary's name on the board. You have to have either your club's logo. In the case of like our Tinsel Triathlon, it's owned and by Rotary, but it's got its own logo. So I actually made our logo even bigger on the billboard so you can see Rotary on it. So we can bend on that a little bit, but we want Rotary as clear as day on the board. And it's just important to make sure you put the who, what, when, and how. So they have enough information to, you know, locate your event. And of course, I'm in charge of that program. So if you want to send me an email, that's my email. I'll put that in the chat as well. You can call me and talk about it. But yeah, it's super simple to do and super effective. We've also had the Rotary Community Heroes of Hope podcast running for a couple years now. And I'm not a big podcaster, but it's on every podcast platform out there. So it's pretty accessible. I don't know if any of you guys, have any of you guys been on a Rotary podcast before? A couple of you? Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I've been on a few now. I've promoted club events. I promoted our BT team to Thailand on there. But yeah, the options are endless. If you have something, a Rotary project, or if you have somebody that's some sort of hero in your community that maybe your Rotary Club works closely with, we want to hear those stories. We want to get those stories out there. So the podcast is a great opportunity, and it only takes maybe a half hour out of your day to record these podcasts. Laura, do you have a question?
I was just going to ask, how often is the podcast?
They do schedule them kind of all at once now. So I think they do it maybe once a month or so. But yeah, you'll take pretty much an entire day and just fill it full of appointments.
Okay,
So
thanks.
yeah. So Kevin Taylor is our contact for that. So if you want to get involved with that in any shape or form, contact Kevin, and he'll get you set up with an appointment. All right, so open discussion. What I was hoping to do with this is, I know we have a lot of materials and stuff available to us, but I think it's important to know what's worked and what's maybe not worked so well. So I thought it would be cool that we all maybe kind of shout out like what kind of marketing that you guys have done that has been super effective in your clubs. Would anybody?
Aloha, Dan. This is Bob Gladwell from Lake Arrowhead Rotary.
Yeah.
And I did send you, I think I sent you a mock-up for the billboards
Yeah.
for the Polar Rotary Bear Plunge.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm just waiting for the go-ahead from the chairs for that to tell me it's okay to do that.
Okay.
But we're really excited about that outreach. Our main focus is we are looking to get some younger members, like 30 to 60-year-olds are younger for us. Mary Justine's laughing because she's got the same issues that we have on the mountain. We have a lot of retirees, but we're trying to get some younger folks involved. We're trying to draft them right out of Interact. We just had Pride parents come to a meeting and we gave them membership packets also. But one of the things that we want to do is to reach out to those younger members. The funny thing is we have a really strong penetration in our community with Rotarians because we have from Lake Arrowhead to Crestline, Lake Gregory, we have 3 good-sized Rotary clubs. We have about a 17% of our business community is in Rotary. So that's people know it, but it's tough to crack the code there to get younger people involved too, and to reach out to them because so many of them say, "Oh, I don't use Facebook anymore. That's for older people."
That's true. That's why you gotta spread your wings and try Instagram and X and all these other platforms. I know that can be effective. I know from my own experience, community service projects, promoting that stuff has been so important for our club. I know a lot of these younger people, I want to sign myself up for that. I really wanted to, when I was getting involved in Rotary, I really wanted to do something community oriented, community service oriented, and I know that's what pushed me into Rotary. So I know that that's super effective, and a lot of it comes down to promoting it. So however you can get that word out is super important.
Yeah, it's interesting. We are one of the 10 local charities that run the Mountain Thrift Shop, and Rotary's Day is Saturdays. So we're able to evangelize for Rotary a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
When people come and see our shirts and stuff that we're wearing. And we also have our Blue Jay Parade this week where we're giving out over 700 books to all the kids in the parade. Now the parade's 2 blocks long. So
Yeah, that's cool though.
but we're able to get the books out to kids there, and we do have our propaganda out around there. But it's just that electronic, reaching out to younger members and young professionals is where we're really struggling.
Yeah, we've got a huge influence in our club now from the chamber. It seems like a lot of young business owners are going to the chamber. They're getting introduced to all these, organizations that are in town. Somehow Rotary seems to be at the top of the list because we seem to get a lot of people coming out of our chamber and joining our club. So that's another good spot to get a lot of business-oriented people, young people, all different ages, really.
Not that we want to poach anyone from any other club, but I did hear that we had some people from Lions that weren't too excited that the Lions weren't doing enough. And so they were wanting to move over to Rotary. But yeah, no, I admit, last year I was out to dinner and I met Dawn, and she was telling me about the Field of Honor, and I took my boys out the next day, and then I met Llewellyn, and I got the brochures, and they said, we're at Richie's at noon. And I honestly thought it was like a women's luncheon. I did not know anything about Rotary. And so I show up and I was like, whoa, and then I was pleasantly surprised of, all the projects and international, and it was amazing. And then what's even weirder is that I found a scholarship that I got in high school, and it was from Rotary. So there is a gap, and I am going to try and bridge that gap, because I'm going to be 50, but I still have, I still have friends that are in the 30s, I'm going to try and branch out to everyone, and yeah, so yeah, that's a big one, keeping the membership rolling, and just getting the word out, and all the great projects and stuff, and making it fun. So that's our motto, right?
Yeah.
For Marietta.
No, we use it too. Does anybody else have any other suggestions as far as like marketing campaigns that you guys have used that have been super effective out there? There's so many options out there nowadays. So
In Rancho Mirage, we've recruited a lot of members by going to the Chamber of Commerce socials. They have a monthly thing, and so that's been a very successful event for us. And I know that Palm Desert does the same thing. They draw a lot of members from the chamber.
Our 3 mountain Rotary clubs actually had hosted a tri-chamber mixer, and we ended up getting a few members, I believe, out of that outreach that we did. Especially since our Mountain Sunrise Rotary Club, their president, Elizabeth, she put on a spread that was absolutely amazing. People got to eat and eat and eat, so that always helps. Is there anything that people are using that they found extremely effective in reaching out? Like, has anybody hired a social media person to deal with, to reach out to younger folks? And Laura, you would be welcome to our club. You would be one of the younger ones in our club.
I have heard of people actually hiring social media people to help with their clubs and their events. I have heard of that.
Rancho Mirage is a pretty small club, but what we do is we work with College of the Desert and get an intern or 2 every year, and they're College of the Desert age, and they know everything we don't know, so they do a lot of our posts for us.
There we go. I like that.
We did the same thing in Hemet too. When we started our social media, it all started with Mount San Jacinto College interns. So they knew what they were doing. They helped us get it started.
Yep.
Super helpful.
Hey, Dan, Doug Emery here. Are you going to, excellent presentation. Are you going to walk through Brand Central with us online, or is that something we do on our own?
The Rotary Brand Center, it's a little bit complicated to walk through online. So I did give you the link to that, and I tried to go over some of the main components of the Rotary Brand Center. Has anybody used the Rotary Brand Center?
Well, I've used it, but to your point, it's kind of confusing. So that's why I thought you may want to demo. And by the way, the links that you referred to are not showing up in the chat unless it's just me. So I have used it. I found some good materials, but it is kind of it'll be challenging for some. So I'm not sure if you're going to demo that. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you. I thought I was missing it. Thank you.
So I have an idea. So on Instagram, maybe looking at all the groups that are part of the community that have obviously built a following, and then usually if you follow someone, they'll follow you back. You know, one thing.
Yep, I've used that quite a bit. I try to reach out to as many groups that might be, similar to us, in certain circumstances, and try to latch onto those groups so that our message gets spread to them, that we're all kind of in the same, community service oriented group together. So I do that a
I
lot.
was gonna try and get on LinkedIn. I kind of dropped the ball on that. I mean, we had a separate group, for the Field of Honor, but I think that just the LinkedIn would be huge because everyone is, not, we do, it's service above self, but I don't know. I mean, I think that would be a really good, because when you try and connect with someone, you're connecting with someone one-on-one. So I just think that that's a huge thing. And then that could lead to their Instagram site for their business. So that could be kind of a domino effect.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I mean, it's all relevant, but maybe LinkedIn might be a little quicker to connect with people,
Oh,
to
yeah.
get the word out, and then they write something up. Hey, you know what, because it notifies everyone that's following them. And then you see people that have 500, I have friends that have 500, followers. So it's just putting together something nicely to say, hey, this is what Rotary is all about. And then as soon as they start following you, then they're going to be hooked up with the events and stuff.
And I do see like an instant reaction on LinkedIn versus, Instagram and Facebook. So I feel it's very effective.
Yeah.
And that's another thing you got to do is you got to adapt to all these different platforms. It's, like you said, there's people not using Facebook like they used to. And you're gonna hear the same thing about Instagram and people on X. And it's like, so
Well,
you
yeah, now
have to
there's
spread the love.
Threads, right?
that?
I don't know. Now there's Threads, but I'm not on that. I don't know. Is anyone on Threads? That's something just everyone's on. But yeah, no, it's just keeping the excitement up, I mean, it's intimidating, but yeah, I'm trying to do some time management here and say, okay, I got to do this because I have someone that's been wanting to get out of the role, and she's been really patient with me, but it's time to get going,
And there's
make
stuff we
sense.
use like editorial calendars too in the district. So we map out our social media posts for the entire Rotary year. So we kind of have an idea of like what we're gonna, showcase this month, and it changes in the next month. So that's always a good tool to use. And that came from, of course, our district governor, Judy, because she's got a marketing background. That's what she does for a living. So her providing that for us was huge. So it helps us kind of stay on the theme, and it's good reminders of what kind of information we want to put out and when. Of course, if you have the time, you can always work off of that and schedule your posts. For about it's about a month or so. I guess you can post up to or schedule up to. So you can, if you can get ahead of it, it's really nice and convenient. I know there's other software or applications you can use that will help. If you do have all of these different platforms, I think there was one called like Hootsuite, stuff like that, where you can put all your information out all at once, and it goes out and shares it to all your different platforms. Stuff like that makes it easier. So there's a lot of tools out there to use. You just kind of have to track them down.
People love pets, so maybe we need to put a little Rotary vest on a cute pet.
I know we do have what the polio pet program.
Viral.
Polio Plus Pet Program.
There you go. We should
Yeah.
advertise that more. I need more information.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's the Polio Plus Kennel Club for $100 a year, even if you don't have a pet, or if you used to have a pet, or if it's an iguana or a lizard or a goat, anything will do.
That keeps it very interesting.
And when you join, they send you a neck kerchief for your pet, and it has End Polio Now on it. It's red, and it's very distinctive. And my dogs are members, and they are, I'm going to hire an agent for them because their pictures with those scarves are so cute. They're white dogs with a red scarf, so it doesn't get much more marketable than that. And I will try to put in the chat, I'm on my phone, but I'll try to put in the chat my contact information, or your club foundation chair already has the Polio Plus and the Society and the Polio Plus Kennel Club. Thank you for the beautiful segue into my advertisement.
I want to advertise that more for you, Marilyn. I promise that.
Thank you.
Hey, Dan, this is Nyron. I have two questions. One is, I know that in this political climate, it may be a questionable, challenging question, but do you know if anybody, I know that TikTok has, I'm not a TikTok user, but I know TikTok has proven to be a very effective business tool for lots of businesses out there. Are you aware of any Rotary clubs using that effectively? Again, I acknowledge that it's challenging with, coming political structure, but
Yeah. No, I've seen Rotary clubs use it. It is very effective.
Mm.
Yeah, it's up to you whether you want to take on that. I know we've even talked about it in the district a little bit. I mean, Nyron, when you become our district governor, I will put you on TikTok every day.
I don't know if that's going to help you, my
You got to
friend.
come up with some fancy dance moves or something. We got to make this go viral.
Yeah. If you can do a little touch up and a few other things, and then you look like
We need
Denzel
a
Washington.
Rotary dance.
Yeah, God help you. Hey, I did have a second follow-up question. And this is actually for everybody on the call, because it's something that's been bouncing around in my head, and somebody mentioned smaller clubs on here, and that's what I've been thinking of. And I was wondering, and feel free to poke holes in this because I'm just trying to flesh out options, but there are a lot of smaller clubs in our district that do not have marketing experts and geniuses like Judy or Dan here. And Dan's very humble, but he's really good at what he does. But that do not have that access to somebody like that available. And I was wondering if we could put together a quote unquote team of people, because it can't be Dan. He's actually got a full-time job, believe it or not. But a team of people that would be accessible to smaller clubs who do not have those capabilities either internally or don't have a local college near them, where they could use this team to effectively, on a regular basis, as Dan said, scheduling, putting out content to let the local community know where they were, what's going on with their club, promoting events that they have, et cetera. And if that is that something you think you could promote to your clubs? Is that something that you said, hey, we'd be willing to do that for X number of dollars per month, whatever X is? Is that of any value to anybody, particularly the smaller clubs? If you're Temecula or some of the larger ones, you have 80 people in the club, so there's probably 14 in there that are capable. But if you're Joshua Tree or 29 Palms or some other smaller clubs, you may not have those capabilities.
We actually have budgeted with our board, our club board. We had they're in agreement that we can look at hiring somebody outside that has some expertise. So that's definitely something we're going to be looking at.
Okay, that's one. Thank you, Bob. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
If somebody in your club is really good at it and is doing it for the club and might be willing to take on a little extra, maybe just in terms of talking to your PR chair or finding a PR chair and giving them some advice on some of the suggestions that Dan has made today, or possibly even give hands-on help. If you have somebody like that in the club, if you could put it, I just put my email address in the chat. You can send the names to me and I'll get them on to Dan, or you can send them to Dan and we could have a distribution list sent out to all of you about somebody who's willing to help your club who belongs to another club.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Marilyn. Anybody else have any thoughts on something like that? Whether it be valuable, not valuable?
Hey, Nyron, it's Robin. So I think it's a great idea that there's some resources available for the smaller clubs, because even if you have someone in a particular club and they have a full-time job, it's difficult to do all of those things if you're helping to support social media or other marketing activities. So I think it's a great idea.
Thank you, Robin.
One thing I do all the time is I look at other clubs, I get on their websites, and if they have a good idea, I borrow it. Because I'm not very creative, but a lot of other people are. So if you see something you like, you might be able to contact that club and say, hey, how could we do this? And then if they're into that, that's something that could also be on the distribution list.
I will tell you that one of the things that we've started a year ago in our district, or coming up on a year ago, is really working on and expanding the resources page on our website to be able to provide a variety of things, anywhere from forms to ideas to almost anything you can think of. And the committee's always looking for more things so that we have a shared collective wisdom. So it's not that, hey, Laura's got something great going on in her club and Marilyn can't have it or something, or Mary Justine has something going on in her club and Dan doesn't know about it. We put everybody's brilliance on there, trying to categorize it under a number of different categories so that you can search for membership forms or best membership practices or foundation ideas or something like that. And anything you can think of, we try to tag it and so that you're able to pull down everybody's best practices and modify it. So you pull down Laura's form and modify it to make it good for your club and to benefit your community, which may be different than her community. So that is ongoing. But we are, and I can tell you, Governor Judy and I talk a lot, and we're of the same mind. There aren't any sacred cows other than we're looking to build upon the past, but looking forward towards the future. So whoever has a better mousetrap, and I'm talking to all you guys on the screen, we're all ears, because each one of you sitting there has a great idea that'll pull from your experience, your business or avocational or vocational experience, and be able to improve the lives of somebody else here on the screen and make it faster, better, jump tall buildings in a single bound kind of thing. So think away and share away. And as our district zone director says, you're not a true Rotarian if you haven't stolen it from another club. So,
Thank you for the blessing on that.
You're quite welcome. Go thou and sin no more, right?
I do the same thing on a lot with the graphic design stuff I do. I know, like I was saying, like Canva opens up a lot of opportunities when you get the Pro Edition. But if you're not, I didn't have any background in graphic design or marketing. I joined a Rotary Club during COVID, and I tried to make something out of nothing, and I did that using Canva. So I don't want to take credit for all of the designs I do. I just get creative with them. I manipulate them. I try to make them better, but that's a good tool that will help you, do something that you at least get the foundation, and then you can run with it however you want. But that makes your life a lot easier.
That's amazing. I think what you send out, Dan, and what you put together is incredible.
Yeah, it is.
You all got the flyer advertising this meeting. Well, that's just one of Dan's, and he can produce it in, I don't know, I think a nanosecond. So we should all get on Canva and see what we can do.
Sky's the
Are you
limit.
using, Dan, is that all Canva or also the Rotary Brand Central?
I get elements from Rotary Brand Central. Obviously, our logos, I have to use some templates from Rotary, and I just bring those into Canva. But then I create my own brand kit in Canva. So if I go and do a Rotary project, all of that branding is there, and even the color codes, all that stuff matches Rotary to a T.
I was kind of brainstorming, and I've been wanting to make a card because so many times I'm talking to people, and maybe I know that we're going to be doing the we kind of have a shift with doing the ring the bell, for Christmas. And I just feel like that could be a good opportunity. We're going to be in front of Walmart. We're going to just be like, here, handing a card saying, scan this, follow us. You want to be part of that. You might not want to sit here and ring a bell, but you want to do something for your community, and that might be like a good way to get the brand out too.
It's a great idea, Laura.
Okay. See, I know we're talking social media, but we need to get them on social media to follow us. So yeah, but I mean, hundreds of people.
This is Robin again.
Rotary,
I had a
go ahead.
I had a quick question. I know we're talking about best practices and sharing ideas at like the end of the year or beginning of the year. Is there any like presentation that each Rotary can do that we're like, hey, this is what we did this year that worked well, or here's a campaign that looked good, or is there any way that we can showcase our work to ourselves so that we can just kind of share the wealth that way?
I think that's a great idea.
It is a great idea.
Yeah, I think that's a rather brilliant idea, and we could have I don't want to speak for Dr. Cortese here, but I think we could have a half-day workshop where people could talk about what they've done successfully, talk about what worked, talk about what didn't work, learn from each other's successes as well as mistakes that you made. I mean, half the success is, hey, I stepped in this hole, don't step in it, right? That's as good as sometimes as other things. But I think that's a great idea, Robin, to share that and say, hey, let's move forward together.
Yeah, it provides a lot of transparency, and as somebody who's new to Rotary and also conscious that we want to engage younger audiences, I think it's just helpful to kind of share the wealth that way.
I also think that sometimes when you're in a position where you have to write something that seems daunting, you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm not this writer, and how am I going to write all this up? And now we had an excellent presentation, and I'm trying to remember her name. I actually ran into her at the Women in Business conference, but it was all on AI. It was all on using AI to, help you write up the piece, and it was amazing. So I would really like to learn that too.
It's amazing. AI is really helpful, and it really, as long as you're using it as a tool and not necessarily as, kind of the guiding light, it's really going to be helpful to expand your ability to push out content.
And that's
still have to write it.
Yeah, it's an efficient way of producing content. So if you're in public image or if you do social media for a living, it's a lot of work to create the content. And I've relied heavily on ChatGPT to write that content for me, or to expand on it, simplify it, improve it. you know, I have no shame in admitting that I use AI pretty regularly now. But it has streamlined the process for me.
I do that too, and I'm a former high school English teacher, and initially I said, "Oh no, I need no help in this. I'm not going to use artificial intelligence to rewrite what I've done." But now I use it all the time. I just put bullet points in there, and it gives me a beautiful paragraph or story or whatever, and it's free.
Myron, where do we post all these documents, articles across the district? You know, I know I've done newspaper articles posted, I've done some flyers and posters, and I maintain our website. So where do we, as a district, share all these links and ideas and PowerPoints and newsletters and all that?
If you have anything that's shareable through social media, I try to get people to send me information, and I'll post it district wide if that's your audience that you're trying to get to, if you think that other people could share it and benefit from it. I also try to follow all of the Facebook groups within our district, and I'll go through and try to pull stuff out and just share it that way. So I'm a resource to help get information out if that's what you want to do.
There's not a site, I know DocDB, there's supposed to be like a place where we post all our projects and activities. Like if someone's doing a year-end PowerPoint, instead of me starting from scratch, I could borrow someone else's year-end PowerPoint, so.
Yeah, I've posted like, it's more of a template. It wasn't necessarily somebody else's presentation on DACDB in the past. So I don't know if we've done any like completed PowerPoint presentations, but I can look into that.
No, it'd just be good, darn, to have a place where we can share among across the clubs what, you know, we're doing, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Share ideas, share successes.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're getting close to our ending time. Are there any last questions for Dan? Or
Hey, Dan?
ideas? This has been
Hey, Dan.
great. Lots of good ideas.
Is
Yeah.
there any way to insert AI into my brain so that I can be as smart as AI?
I don't know if that's possible, Rick.
Oh, man.
I will tell you that I've spoken with Elizabeth Mahoney from the Zone, who's a very creative person, and made a brief presentation to our district governor-elect group on utilizing AI. And it was extraordinary. And I've asked her to do that presentation for our district, and she's agreed. I just need to come up with a date, but I'll coordinate that with Dan and with Marilyn so that everybody who wants to can be there, because it really was quite stunning as to the breadth of this thing. And you know, for us old dogs, this is it's a whole new world here, but the future is quite bright. So that will be coming. And I definitely, Dan and Marilyn, think it'd be great if we could follow up on Robin's idea of having a workshop at the beginning of the year sometime that will let people share and power through the second part of the year with information. So I think that was brilliant, the sharing capabilities. And I will tell you that lastly, that I think it was Doug who was asking about the resource page. If you go to rotary5330.org and look through there, there is a page that has forms, and under Rotarians, the district forms and documents is one area that you can look at for that, for some information as well. And they will continue to add to those forms and documents.
Some of our forms on there as well, or?
I'm sorry?
Can we post our materials on that form, that site as well then, to share?
Yes. Unless somebody's changed something in the last 30 days, but yes, there was a forms and resource that I was actually, I thought it was entitled resource. I'm actually on the site right now looking for the the tab. But there is one, and there'd been a whole bunch of stuff that had been uploaded because we had discussion. Tell you what, I will confirm that they have not either taken it down to do an update or reclassified as something. But yes, there was a wealth of information from a variety of people's experiences, forms that are being utilized by clubs and individuals, and classified as to membership, foundation, and a variety of other things. So
I can reach out to Dan Goodrich too and talk to him about that concept if it's something that we need to expand on, or through DACTV, through the website, something like that.
Well, again, I want to thank you all for taking the time out this evening so we could hear new ideas, new resources, begin to put together our own branding and PR campaigns. I do urge you to get on the Rotary International branding website. It might take a little while to navigate around, but I'm not a tech savvy person by any means. I do it by trial and error, and I've found that website to be extremely useful. So give it a shot when you've got 10 or 15 minutes, and don't drink coffee so you don't get all hyped up and frustrated. Just give it a shot and see what happens. Thank you all for tuning in. Dan, this has been such a great idea, and the discussion that you generated has been really valuable. I've written down a lot of notes. I'm taking a lot of ideas back to my club. So thank you a lot. Nyron, thank you as well. You generated some great discussion and got some ideas for what some of our folks want to see on the district website. So with that, I'll bid you all good evening. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you need to contact me or Dan, you have our email addresses. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Happy holidays.